Hey everybody, I'm Ryan Hanna, and this is my project for DGST 395. So my topic was Bitcoin and particularly speculation using Bitcoin. And so I want to start off all this by saying I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just like an idiot on the internet. Nothing I say is like should be construed as like expert financial advice or anything like that. I'm just some guy with an opinion. But anyways, so what makes this project interesting and why the average person should care is that the potential for upside in investing in any sort of cryptocurrency, but particularly in this case Bitcoin, is massive. It's just absolutely insane. So like for example, let's say let's even we don't even have to go all the way back. Let's go back to like let's say like January 1st, 2016. Let's say you invested $1,000 and this website just calculates like what the average price of Bitcoin was at the time times like the amount of money. It's pretty simple, but it's really cool because it has like all the info properly set up. So let's say you invested $1,000 in Bitcoin January 1st, 2016, and this sort of like tracks like what would happen to your investment here. So for that price on that date, you would have been able to purchase 2.28 full Bitcoin, which now is like over $80,000. It's like around 90,000 ish as of today. And as you see, it's still going up, going up. So you've put in 1,000. At this point, it's been 4 years, and it's gone up like over 20x, almost to like yeah, 30x, 40x, 80x, 100x, over 100x. Then it dumps off back down. And that's one of the big like themes of these is that, or cryptocurrencies in general. When I say these, but particularly Bitcoin as well. Like all cryptocurrencies, because their price is purely based on supply and demand, they have potential to be extremely volatile on the upside and on the downside. But the nice thing is, if it's like a lifetime uptrend and you invest, hopefully you can capture the gains. Like for example, if you invested 1,000 like 6 years ago, and then held on to it for 6 years, just like put the blinders on, didn't pay attention to the price fluctuations at all, boom, 95 and over a 95 and a half x on your original investment. And if you want to see some really, really crazy numbers, if we go back to like, I mean, this one is, some of these are like, it's not really like, you can't really kick yourself that hard for not like knowing about Bitcoin or not buying any at this point because it wasn't like on any, this was like around the time where it just started trading for money basically. So it wasn't really like anywhere to get it anyways. But let's look at like an insane example to demonstrate the point even better. And this is also why like personally if I'm looking to like just generate like profit or like return on investment, I wouldn't necessarily pick Bitcoin as like the best source for that just because the alternative cryptocurrencies that are like a little bit, I don't know, like they have like smaller market caps and they're like it's easier for them to move up to make like big moves to the upside. It's also easier for them to make big moves to the downside. So it's like a bit of a double-edged sword, but yeah. So I put in $1,000 July 18th, 2010, and let's see what happens to it. So this would be you bought it and you held it for over a decade until today, which almost no one does. Or if people did it, then they did it because they did it like unintentionally, basically, for the most part. But so right now, your investment is already up over 1,000x once it hit the 1 mil, 2,000, multiple thousands, over 10,000x at one point. Just over 4 years, that's a pretty ridiculously insane return on investment. That's absolutely mind-boggling. Another 5 years then, it's about 5,000x, a little bit more return on investment. So 500,000%. And now it's even past that. Now it's, so your 1,000 has become 50 million plus, 100 million plus. There's still 3 years to go to the current date. It's 1,000 is almost, that's closer to a billion than it was to zero. And right now it would be at $418,618,000 from a $1,000 investment, and you've held it like just barely over a decade, like 12 years. Not even a full 12 years from this point to this point. So yeah, I mean my overall video is a little longer than this, but this was the most compelling part of it in my opinion, and this is the part that really just, I don't know, it's the craziest part. It makes everything seem absolutely crazy, which it is. And then we also have some like examples right down here on the bottom. So like if you had purchased $1 Bitcoin in October 2010, that would have been worth $100 by June 2011. If you kept it till 2015, you would have started off with over 2,000. So that would have been like a 20x over 5 years. Not 20x, 2000x. I apologize. Just a casual 100 times more. And yeah. So like a person with 10K to spare in 2010 could have become a billionaire by 2017. If Bill Gates got drunk and spent 1,000 or a million USD on Bitcoin back in 2010, he'd have an extra $98 billion in his pocket right now. Just kind of stuff like that. But yeah, thanks for listening.